To all my brothers out there that got the beard, that like to take care of it, that like to keep it groomed. Look, we got a Black Friday sale going on right now. $5 off our essential beard growth oil and another $3 off the balm right now. I'm telling you, it's going to have your beard soft and glistening with a brilliant shine all day. The link is at the top line of the description, and the best part is the shipping is free for a limited time only. See you soon.
There's no.
Talking and kind of extending the conversation on hip hop and where it was when it when during its inception and kind of where it grew to and where it is now. What's your thought on where it is now? What's your thought on hip hop? I think I was listening to Sean Stockman, old member of Boys to Men, and he was saying just like the music industry eliminated producers, they eliminated song makers, and this is why the quality of music. And he wasn't just talking about hip hop; he was talking about in general, the quality of music and the quality of sound that we were accustomed to hearing 20, 30 years ago is no longer prevalent in today's music. So just talk about just the quality of music from where you kind of grew up listening to it to where it is now, in particular hip hop.
I'm an '80s baby, so for me, I grew up half of my life with and on analog and half on digital, right?
Mm.
Half internet, half whatever you want to call it. So when I first started, I was listening to conscious hip hop, right?
Mhm.
The drug dealers didn't talk about selling drugs. They talked about getting out the hood and trying to do something better than themselves, for themselves and for the community, right? But if I grew up in 2000 or mid 2000s, right, they'll think that their artists now are the best. Why? Because that's what they grew up on. You are the sum total of your past thoughts, experiences. You're the sum total of that. So for me, the music today, um, I'm not gonna say it's bad. I'm just gonna say it's entropic. So empires rise and fall, right? So when it comes to this music, it eventually will be a classic, like how Ja Rule or 50 Cent are classics to us, right? Even though I'm thinking, wait, that was 20 years ago? Yeah, it's 20 years ago. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's all bad because if you can bypass the ratchetness and the ignorance of what you see, that's all illusion because none of them are actually living that day. Method Man said it in a rap song. He says 80% of rappers are fake and so is they change. So I'm saying that it just depends which you vibe with because nowadays it's just trap beats and drill beats and simplifying the lyrics. But rappers are art form anyway. So I can't knock these people for making bread and making money off the music, even if I don't like it. So I'm torn between that because I came from an era where it was conscious music compared to now. So I always would be biased towards that to what's going on now. Because for me, it's not the same. My son, he likes Juice World. I like Juice World too. I didn't know nothing
Mhm.
about him until he died. And then I listened
Right.
to some of the songs. I was like, oh, this dude's pretty deep, right? Takashi 6ix9ine. Mm, mm,
Mhm.
mm. But
Right.
there's a lot of goofies out there doing the same thing he's doing, and it's working
Mhm.
because it's
Mhm.
a trend, it's a fad, it's something that has to be done, right? I mean, I don't know how many people, especially in the tri-state area, was not doing a wave cap with the fitted when 50 Cent came out.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing that, John, bro. Now
Yeah.
look at 50 Cent. He barely wears fitteds anymore. He barely
Yeah.
wears jewelry anymore because he's transcended, right? That's how you know you done your job and you matured in the game. And rap hip hop is a young man's sport anyway, male or female. And when you look at the Sexy Reds and the Sukianas and who was the archetype of that? I would say that would be Little Kim because she was the archetype of Biggie Small's fantasy. She wasn't like
Mhm.
that. It was a girl who was going to Catholic school. And then he said, yo, now she look like a dominatrix. And that sold because first time in hip hop, we never seen something like that. So we can't even blame the kids how they are today because who did that?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's 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 what it is. But consciousness is coming back because it's time. You know, ignorance is bliss if you stay in it. And we're all waking up, no matter where you at in life, the degrees of your education or intellect. You're going to understand that this is all an illusion. None of the Cardi B's and them, they're not real. They just doing that because of a paycheck. Just like our person would put on another mask when they go to work to clock in because they ain't trying to get in trouble that day. You're gonna, as black people, we have the white voice, as they call it. The interview voice in order to get through, get by. Hey, how you doing, Tom? How you doing, Bob? How you doing, Chuck? That
Yeah,
thing. And then when you get home with your homeboy, hey, what's up, dude? How you doing? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then and then when you by yourself, you're like, man, let me go do my nerd stuff and go watch Star Wars, or whatever your thing is. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
everyone wears a mask. It's just if you understand this is all an illusion, then you'll be fine.
Right. And I was gonna ask you just about that, about the female hip hop. I'm glad you touched on it a little bit. Um, what effect though? And obviously the male artists, the gangster rappers had an effect, the drug rappers, the over sexualization. You talk about the Little Kims and Nicki Minaj's, Sexy Reds, your Glorillas now. What effect do you think does that have on not necessarily us, because we get it, but the younger girls that want to emulate, these women in their sexual, acts that they do and talk about?
I'll say this: it starts in the home.
Yeah.
So if your environment is filled with liquor, cursing, half half nakedness, ratchetness, then that's
Mm-hmm.
gonna put onto the child more than a sexuette or a Nicki Minaj would ever do, because it's called programming,
Mm-hmm.
radio programming. Okay, that says it all. But if you are drenched in listening to that type of music, I mean, music will dictate how you are emotionally.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's dependent on you. So it's like the devil will always say, I didn't make him do it. I gave him a choice. Well, was there only two choices, or were there more? You can't blame something that's been put in front of you just because. Like a lot of people will say, especially men will say, I hit. Okay, most men will say that because who they're around. But let's be honest. Do you want a woman who's that easy? No. Do you want a woman? You want that woman to be the mother of your kids, your wife? Do you want? Can you honestly feel good for her to be a trophy wife dressing like that? That is a
Mm-hmm.
fantasy. From the dyed hair to the bra to the high heel shoes to the all of that's a fantasy in the bedroom that just got exploited, and they found ways to make money off of it. Unfortunately, when like I said, the checks and balances in hip hop and any type of music, right? Because if you go to rock and roll, right? Rock and roll in the '60s meant love making music. We was rocking in the roll, and that means they was having sex in bed. That's what rock and roll means, right?
Okay.
But they don't tell you that. They tell you that rock and roll is white man's music. No, 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 sir. No, rock and roll is just like R&B. It's just a higher frequency. That's it. Jazz meant jackass music. Why? Because people who were famous in it had big nose, big lips, big ears, like a donkey. And what do you call it? What's another name for a donkey? An ass, a jackass. Jackass music. That's what jazz means, right? But what did he do with that? Like the word nigga. I'm sorry, I don't know if I should say that word on the platform, but the N
Yeah.
word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it meant something classy. It meant something regal, but they diluted it to make it something negative, right? Because we speak in connotations. So going back to your question, women,
Mm-hmm.
it starts in the home. It starts in the home because if there's like for me, I'm a latchkey kid from New Jersey, right? So my babysitter was the TV. My babysitter was the radio, the boombox, right? So if I wasn't if I wasn't being luckily I didn't I didn't consort to doing selling drugs and stuff like that because I was definitely an outcast in my own neighborhood because of how I am. But I remember every commercial in the '80s and '90s. I remember every song that I vibe with, from Transformers to He-Man to G.I. Joe, right?
Mm-hmm.
But did I want to be a soldier? No, no.
Right.
Did I want to have did I want to have that He-Man haircut and say I have the power? No. I love that show.
Yeah.
Transformers. I'm not a robot. I'm a black man in this country. I'm not trying to be a robot. But the esoteric side of it, right? I have the power. That's strong. If you know what that means. Robots in disguise. That's a lot of us. It's a lot of robots out here. They'll do what they do on TikTok and Instagram. That's a robot, a person with no soul, who's doing what they told with no emotion. And these archetypes, like a sexy Ratsukiana, they just doing what they were told to do, like a robot. But if you really
Mm.
ask them the question without all those cameras, you'd be surprised how true and really what they are.
VL Underground. I've been reading that under your name and kind of curious. What is VL Underground? Talk about that a little bit.
Yes, sir. So V stands for versatile, L stands for line, or like a collection. And underground is what you can't see. So I started that many moons ago in LA. I used to live in LA, and was working with a lot of artists at the time. And we actually had a deal on the table, but then it fell through because that's what happens in the business. And I said, you know what? I'd rather focus on the talents of a person rather than seeing what the person looked like. So what I did was because I'm a writer by my niche is writing. So I would write a song, right, and then I will get someone to sing on it or rap on it, and then I'll get a producer to find what makes it flow. And I started that with music. Then eventually I started that, and then I started working into books where I would write something, and then I would get a circle of people to put something together to make it form into something physical. So I had a thought in my head. I wrote it down, some notes, did some research, and then I made it up to something that I think can be tangible to sell. So underground is you don't know who is the person. You don't know who the person who's writing it. You don't know who the person is singing it, and that's the idea. I want to keep it specifically talent. Like if you like the person's voice or the lyrical content or the way the book is written, good. You're not focusing on the person's color or ethnicity or background. You're focusing on the song. So that's why I made it call that's why I call it the Underground.
Dope. When did you what was the brainchild behind starting it, and where how deep into music did you want to go originally?
Deep as I can go, deep into the
Yeah.
subconscious. So, like I said, when I was younger, in order to escape the mindset of poverty of the hood, I would read books, I would watch movies, and I would write. Right. When I moved to LA, I was there for almost 10 years, and I did a lot of ghostwriting back then, and but because I wasn't part of the Writers Guild, what Writers Guild, I couldn't ask for more money. I can only get at face value what I think it was worth, and I took it. I took everything that I experienced in my life and I wrote it down, whether it be in a book or in a song, every book, and I just dig deep, and sometimes the thoughts that I had accumulated from the stuff that I watched in movies or the books that I read. And stuff that I didn't even know existed in my mind just came out. And it just became that.
Dope.
Right. If you can, I know we were talking a little bit on the phone. What type of
Yeah.
music do you actually make? Is it R&B? Because I know you said you dabble into different types of music. Talk about the type of music that you make.
I would not say, okay, so I would say my goal is to make all types of music. Hip
Okay.
hop is in there. Hip hop's in there. I have Afro beats called Chillax that's on YouTube right now. It's called
Okay.
Chillax. I worked with an African Nigerian singer from Nigeria to do that song. And it's an Afrobeat song. It's jazzy, but it's Afrobeat. I did a hip hop content. I did a hip hop song called "Tattoos and Scars" with another artist. I wrote that
Okay.
song, and it became, I like it, and the music videos on YouTube as well, under Via Underground. Um, Classic rock, I did that as well. Um, I'm working on a reggaeton as we speak with a artist from Venezuela. right now.
Mhm.
So, and I wrote the song, but I didn't. I said, can you put some Spanglish in it? And he put some Spanglish in it, and it sounds fantastic. So that's coming out soon. So my goal is to do every genre because I feel it's important to not base yourself on a monolith. Like you don't like what you like. Like hip hop, in essence, is a synthesis uh, of all genres. Like you got rock and hip hop, you got jazz and hip hop, you got like you think about New Jack Swing. That's come on, that's a mixture of two genres. So my goal is to just do something in every genre. Um, no long. It doesn't matter how long it takes. That's the goal, and I'm gonna make it happen, no matter what.
Right. Now I know when we spoke, I think it was last year sometime, you were driving a
Yes, sir.
truck. So talk
Yes,
about
sir.
how you so when they say when a man's out there, it's just you and your thoughts.
Mhm.
So is it this
Yes.
time when you're on the road that you're coming up with these concepts for these songs and just kind of take us to where you're coming up, with the ideas for some of these songs. Or if you want to talk about one particular song, give us that example.
So there's a song that's on YouTube now. It's called "Tattoos and Scars." Right. Everyone has some type. I would say 7 out of 10 people, statistically speaking, has gone through some type of trauma in their life. Right. And some people wear their trauma like a tattoo. You clearly can
Hmm.
see a tattoo. Look at the tattoo specifically. Why did they pick that? Why the color? Why the design? Why the shape? Right. Now, scars. That tells you you've been through some things. I have a few scars myself, right?
Hmm.
I've been shot, I've been stabbed, I've been poisoned, right? So I said, let me simplify a song and talk about something specific that everyone goes through. Everyone nowadays have a tattoo for the most part, right?
Hmm.
But also, if they don't, they have a scar, which is a sign of trauma. So I said, let me write something about that and get a hip hop artist to put something to make it very je ne sais quoi, I should say, and it turned out to be a good thing, right? Um, I wrote that from the heart because for me, not just being on the road, but my past experiences that I've been through. You ever been robbed? That's a traumatic event. You ever been beaten before or mobbed on? That's a traumatic event. If you ever been through war, traumatic, right? PTSD is real. So I said, let me talk about that in 32 bars. So I did. That's just one example, but to answer your
Right.
question, uh, as far as into my thoughts, I do that anywhere. So being a truck driver, um, I'm always alone, but in everything that I do, I'm always alone. So I used to be a prison guard. I was alone doing that most of the time. I was working graveyard shift, right? So what am I doing to stay up? Writing, thinking, right? If I go to Walmart looking for stuff, I usually just meander through the aisles just because I'm trying to have a vantage point to where I should go with my
Hmm.
current project, and that's just how it works for me. Any writer would tell you that, or any person in the arts would tell you that sometimes it's just sitting in silence and you get these ideas. Like there's a bird in my backyard right now. I can
Yeah.
I can come up with a concept with a bird. All I got to
Right.
do is just write it down and make something happen. Like I'm currently writing a song right now because the Los Angeles fires just happened, right? And I used to live in LA. I used to go to Pacific Coast Highway all the time. So I'm writing a song about the Pacific Coast Highway because if you go there now, it's not like it used to be. So, and I'm going to quantify that talking about life, how life changes and what it happens to you in life is like the Pacific Coast Highway.
Mm.
Now, on the surface, some may get it, but it's really deep. Everything I do is layered. It's never topical. It's always layered. Mhm.
Right. Now you took your talents into writing as well,
Yeah.
books.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking about
Yes, sir.
when you started to do that as well in your newest project that you have out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You want me to talk about that or
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. Talk about if you your book. I know you have a book, so talk about that if you can in the process to developing that. Like, where'd you even
So
start
I
to think to do that? You know what I mean?
I'm into fantasy and sci-fi heavy. So
Okay.
for the black nerds out there, everybody pretty much know what Game of Thrones is. Everyone knows what Lord of the Rings, Willow, right? Robin Hood. But where's the black essence of it? Like the Moors
Mm,
were there. They don't talk
right.
about that. Moors
Right.
pretty much made Europe what it is today.
Mm,
They don't talk about that. So I said, let me make a fantasy about a boy named Tariq, because Tariq in Arabic means path, right? That's what Tariq means in Arabic, means the path. Al Tariq, um, about a boy who was prophesied to be the the one, so to speak, and he has to go through trials and tribulations, just like everyone else, like a kid, in order to be what they are today. In order to do that, they have to. I chronicle what he does. He meets certain people. His father, his mother, their king. She's a queen. She was barren for many years, and then the father he went on a battle and fought a war, and he won the war, and then he saw this witch who told him that he was going to have a kid, and he's been trying for years to have a kid, and he was like, I'm gonna have a kid. There's no way. And she said, on the next blue moon, you'll have a kid. They did, and he was like, what is this? So where did I gather that from? Everything I've ever saw in my entire life, everything that I ever wanted to be. Because if you look at books, you are the main character. That's where I got it from. If you go and I'm gonna say something that's a little on the shock value, so please forgive me. I don't want to.
yeah.
I don't want to insult anybody. But if you look at religious texts, really
Hmm.
look at them. They talking about you. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't matter what it is. They're talking about you. It's a story. You look up the word story, the definition. Doesn't mean it's big. It's true. It means it's telling you something that's complex and simplified for you to understand. That's it. So I'm doing the same thing with this children's book, and I'm trying to get sponsoring on GoFundMe to get it published. That's it. So yeah, I gathered it from everything. Hmm.
Nice. I was going to ask you if it's published or not, but you just kind of extended to the next question. So where are you at on the funding? How close are you to getting it published? What are the steps or the trials and tribulations, so to speak, in getting a book published that you're going through right now?
The trial and tribulations is always going to be money, sir. My
Yep.
brother, it's always going to be money. Um, I'll say this. I'm a man of belief that if you put your mind to something, it's going to happen. I'm not too concerned about when, but because I know it's going to happen. I'm more concerned about getting the sponsorship and believing that if them watching this platform, me being interviewed by you guys, and again I say thank you for bringing me on your platform.
For sure.
Um, that the trial and tribulation is just the money. So I have a I put the funding up about 7 months ago, I think a year ago, and I probably only required $135 out of 8,000.
Mm,
From start to finish, it's really just getting the publishing. The publishing is actually not the hardest part. The hardest part is really just trying to put everything together
okay.
from because I already written the book, getting the illustrators, working out a price with that. I already got that price. Then talking to a publishing house. If I don't do it through Amazon or Creative Space, then I have to go through a publishing house, and that costs about $2,000 roughly.
Wow.
If I want to take it to Penguin Books or Simon and whatever that other name is, I would have to hire a publishing agent. That costs about $8,000 alone just to shop the deal to get it published. But I'm only asking for 8,000 just to self-publish the book. Now, if I want to get a publishing agent, I got to add another 8,000 onto that. And I have the link, I have the list of people I want to talk to. I just got to just need the funding. So that's the trial and tribulation. Going back to your original question, it's just money,
Yeah.
and I know I'll get there. I hope that people who watch this will support and little as a dollar because it's on GoFundMe. It's a little as a dollar, as much as you want, and I can get this going. And then once it's done, within a few months, it'll be out everywhere. But starts think big, start small. So
Yeah, and to the people watching, we'll definitely publish the link in the description box. So if you want to help this brother, get his book, out there, the link will be right at the top line of the description box. Now we were talking. I want you to kind of give a breakdown if you can. You sent me something about New Jack City. If you kind of break that down for our audience, I thought that was pretty decent. How you broke that down. Go ahead and break that down about what you the true meaning behind that movie, if you can.
sure. Well, we talked about a few of them, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got into my nerd bag with that one. So all right. So New Jack City. If you look at the poster, right, what do you see? The biggest face you see is Wesley Snipes, right? Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. He's made out of smoke, right? So why is that? Because he's not real. He is the dark side of the main character. I forgot the name of the guy. I think it was G Money, something like that. Like the light skinned dude. He's the main guy. He's the
Right.
boss. Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah.
that's what that is. So every time you see G Money, you see Wesley Snipes in the back. Every time you see them together, they're side by side. That's because Wesley Snipes is the dark side of G Money. That's it.
Mm,
So as a writer,
mm,
from a writing perspective, we all have this inner shaitan, this inner devil in us. So in order for us to get things done, you have to tap into your dark side to get things done. Like people don't, if you like to fight, that's because your dark side likes to fight. But most people don't like to fight. If you like to cause make mayhem across the world, it's because that's that's your dark side doing that. That's not the good side. Like, this is the higher consciousness of Zayd right now talking to you because I'm tapping into the higher side. But if I start yelling, start talking all this vulgarity, I'm tapping into my dark side. And no matter how civil I may be, dark or light, you can tell based on the content and intentions I put. What did he do in the movie? He was selling drugs. But who announced it? Wesley Snipes, the dark side of G Money. If you go to
mm,
Jason's lyric, same concept. Bokeem Woodbine's character did not kill his father. Jason did. But why did Bokeem Woodbine go to jail? Because that was the evil side of Jason.
mm.
Go to Menace to Society. Menace to Society.
Right.
Gemini in astrology is that Roman numeral two. So Old Dog and Cain were the same person,
Hmm.
and the color was blue. Go to Juice. The main character was Omar Epps' character. Everyone else was a piece of him. Like the first one who died, that was his consciousness, right? The fat dude from Lean on Me, the one that survived, that was
Deal.
his innocence.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was his innocence. That was his innocence. Tupac was his dark side. Bishop, that was his dark side. The girl that he was seeing, the nurse, that was his hope.
Wow.
Those are all branched together.
Wow.
So as a writer, I saw that going in. But most people didn't see that because you actually thought Bishop and the other guys were real. They're not real. That is an archetype of one person. All black hood movies are the same for the most part, if you pay attention to the scheme. But that's how all movies are. There's nothing in movies that you can't see that has not been described or talked about and such because of how it is. So can you hold on a second? I gotta charge my phone. Give me 1 second.
Oh yeah, yeah. Do your thing, man. Yeah.
Hold,
We
hold on.
we almost
Hold on.
there. Yeah. Do your thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. If you don't mind, I'm going to take this to the car.
Yeah. You good? We got a few more minutes. So you good, brother? If you want
I
to just
apologize for the I
no,
apologize
no,
for the inconvenience.
no, you good, you good.
Yeah,
It's no
yeah, because
inconvenience, man. Yeah, we
yeah.
just we
As
like
soon as we get, it's funny because as soon as it start getting good, things start coming around. The
yeah.
battery's
Now
low.
you good, man. That was a heck of a
Yeah,
breakdown.
yeah. So, what was the last thing I said? I said juice, right?
Yeah, you were talking about juice. Yep. And,
Okay. So another
mhm.
one, Sugar Hill with Wesley
Okay.
Snipes and his brother, right? Look at that movie. His brother wasn't real.
Okay.
His brother wasn't real. So why wasn't it real? Because he was trying to get out the hood because he was tired of doing what he was doing.
Right. Yeah.
And why was his brother trying to bring him back? Right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, sir. You good?
I apologize, guys. Sorry about that.
No, you good, man. It's
Um,
pre-recorded. We edit. You good? Yeah.
okay. So look at Sugar Hill. They're wearing red, right? His brother is on the right of him. And no one's really talking to his brother except his father in Sugar Hill. Why is that? Because that is him.
Mm.
That's him. Pick any hood movie, really study it, the schisms, right? Pay attention to all of that. And you start seeing what and who is the true character of the story is. If you look at Juice, everyone thought it was about Tupac, right? Because he was explosive in that. But when you tap into your dark side, you are explosive. Murder is not something that's natural, but people do it all the time, right? He's never shot a gun before. Remember at the end when he killed Tupac, when Tupac fell off the roof, and the man's like, "You got the juice, man." He said, "Nah," because he killed off that dark side of him. But
Mm.
before he went to go see Tupac, he went to go see his hope, that woman, the nurse, if you remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was part of the evolution of enlightenment for us. Now, why is that important? Because if you go to religious texts, if you go to movies, they all saying the same thing. It's about you. It's about you. Why? Because if you can't fix you, you're done. Going back to the story that Sam was saying, with the kids were listening, the women listening to Sukihana and all of that, right? It starts in the home. If there's no organization in the home, they're doomed to fail anyway. If you grew up in a single parent household, well, how you know who you choose in your life is the right one, right? You have to seek mentorship. And I'm gonna get geeked out here. If anyone who watched Star Wars, what did Luke go through in order to be who he is? If you follow Star Wars, if you follow the Matrix, Neo didn't believe in himself until he ran into Morpheus. But he always had an idea something wasn't right. So that's all what this is. And it's about you. So when you read a book, your favorite movie, your favorite song, why do you vibe to it so well? Why does it connect to you so well? It's because they're talking about you. Mind you, yes, it's about the person's thoughts that wrote the song, but why do you vibe with it so well? Because you've been through that same thing that person been through. That's the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
That's the connection. Does that make sense, guys? Because I don't want to
Absolutely.
say too much.
No, no, no.
For sure.
I'm
Okay.
glad you broke that down like that. Because I never
Yeah.
looked at it like I told you the other day. I never really looked at it, but I can see it now. Even Menace to Society came like this was the dark side. Then the guy with
Yeah.
Sharif might have been the Muslim guy Sharif that was always a positive in his ear, telling him how he
That's
shouldn't do
right.
this. I see it. And then Jada Pinkett in the movie. Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
deep, brother. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, seeing stuff like that, it always tells me, what we doing as a collective. We have to tap from within inside. So for me, like, even though I have my new
So
Yo.
brother. Wait a minute, went out. If you can, if you hear me, drop off and come right back in if you can.
Drop off.
Oh
Okay.
no, all right, no, wait. We hear you. We hear you. We hear you now.
Oh, okay.
You good? You
Cool.
good?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
might have got a phone call or something, huh?
Man, look, from the phone dying, Bluetooth dying, people call. I don't get all this attention when I'm doing something important.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
When I'm
yeah.
doing nothing, no calls.
Nothing.
Right.
It's like
No, we
wait,
wrapping up though. We
like
right
like
to
like 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 they like my grandma used to say, the devil busy today. The devil busy
yeah,
today.
yeah, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, in closing, man, tell people where they can find you and where they can obviously support, the book project that we're going to be putting in the description box as well. Once again.
Okay. So besides the link to the description box of the GoFundMe to support the book project that I'm doing, you can go to www.v-lunderground.com.
Okay.
That is the website for the music and content, all the other stuff that I'm putting together. I'm also putting a merchandising store as well that people can support if you want to buy a shirt or whatever. I just got to get the links connected, but it's already up there for those who want to see it. And when you first go on the website, you're gonna you're gonna see a promo song about who VL Underground is, right? And it's just a 1 minute stanza about what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be better than I am today that I was yesterday, and better tomorrow. So via the www.v-lunderground.com is the website. You can also go. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook under the same moniker. Um, and yeah, that's it. I appreciate you guys putting me on your platform, and for those who are watching, please support. Make my dreams come true, so I can make it better for everyone else.
Yes, sir,
Appreciate your story,
man.
brother.
Yes, sir. Zaid Abdullah Jr. Junior, right? Is it Junior? Or this?
No,
Oh, my
Zeta
bad.
Blue Kadir.
Oh, my bad. I shrunk the screen. I was a little bad, but I
It's all
appreciate you,
good,
man.
bro. It's all good.
I edit that part out, brother. Have a good
It's all
one, man. All right, bro.
Derek, Sam. Look, I appreciate these guys. I appreciate this conversation, guys. I don't talk about this stuff because I'm a social recluse, so it's good to talk about these things openly. And thank you for bringing me onto your platform.
Absolutely, brother.
We
Yeah, we'll
appreciate
be
you,
in
bro.
contact. Have a good one, bro.